Welcome to Morningstar. Swedish investors have a very limited access to American ETFs in general, but that has changed with Avanza's latest fund launch. Swedes can now get exposure to Cathie Wood's ARK Innovation ETF, which was one of the big winners of the explosive bull market run of 2020. However, the ETF has two very challenging years behind it and a lot of critics as well as supporters. Morningstar's fund analyst Robby Greengold has followed Cathie Wood and her innovation ETF for a long time, and today we're going to address who this fund might be suitable for and what his views are. Robby, you have a negative rating on ARK Innovation. Why is that?
Well, ARK Innovation it's a high risk, high reward strategy, and that puts a premium on the skills and capabilities of the investment team to prudently manage those risks and adequately assess the upside potential of the kinds of disruptive, innovative companies that it pursues. And it's been hard to have much confidence in the team or their process. The analyst team, it's had a lot of churn over the years. Most analysts hired since 2014, they came to the firm without significant experience as either stock analysts or technical experts in their field. And the few analysts that did come to the firm with full-time work experience, well, they came from relevant fields such as epidemiology, but overall the team doesn't stand out next to its rivals in the industry that employ or retain in-house specialists. Often they have advanced degrees or other strong credentials, and so it's hard to see what advantage the team has to be competing in a very challenging space where technical expertise is really important. And lead manager Cathie Wood, her performance here and at other thematic strategies that she ran prior to ARK, the track record has overall been just generally underwhelming, with high volatility, poor downside protection, and middling risk-adjusted returns over the long term. And yet, she is the primary investment decision maker at ARK, and she has established a ubiquitous media presence and an enthusiastic following, as you pointed out. And so Wood is essential to the firm's continued success, but that also amplifies the key person risk of the firm.
Okay, but other than that, then, can Cathie not be onto something here? I mean, technology takes over more and more of our lives, and there are tools and ideas popping up here and there and everywhere with stuff that we didn't even know that we needed or even wanted. Maybe most companies aren't prepared for what the future might hold.
I think that's true. I think that the firm-wide investment philosophy at ARK, we think that it has some merit, but it's hard to have much confidence in Cathie Wood's ability to actually deliver over the long term in a way that shareholders can be happy with, because the team just it lacks a robust approach to understanding or mitigating the portfolio's risks, and she instead relies on her instincts to construct the portfolio. The firm, it has no risk management personnel. It has vaguely defined risk controls, and it views risk almost exclusively through the lens of its bottom-up stock research. So although I think that there is something that investors might really want to be looking for in terms of a portfolio of companies that can disrupt the status quo, that is important, and I think that there is something to that. But there are other firms that can accomplish that in a much more capable way.
Okay, so what kind of investor then do you think that ARK Innovation would be suitable for?
Well, since it is a high risk, high reward strategy, it may appeal to investors that are on the aggressive side, those that can stomach the risk of potentially heavy losses, such as those that we saw from ARK Innovation in 2022, especially. But a long time horizon is going to be important for any sort of strategy that embraces the kinds of aggressive growth stocks similar to the ones that ARK Innovation embraces.
Mm. And for any Swedish investor that might be interested in getting some exposure to ARK Innovation now that the door is opened, do you have any word of advice?
Well, I would consider what alternatives there might be from rivals that are competing in the same space. There are other firms that we think highly of that invest over multi horizons, and the kinds of the kinds of companies that are maybe have nascent business models, but they have a long growth trajectory ahead of them. A firm like Bailey Gifford, for example, has a lot of expertise in house, and they do a really thorough job of really scrutinizing these companies. And so there's a firm like Bailey Gifford, or in the States there are other shops that are much better prepared than we think that the team at ARK is to be navigating this space. So I think that investors who are interested in these kinds of stocks should consider the capabilities of the firm that's exploring this territory.
So, as always, do your own homework. Thank you, Robby, for joining us here today and sharing your thoughts. And until next time, I'm Joanna England for Morningstar.